I love So I Married an Axe Murderer. I've seen it probably 342 times. We are live streaming, boys.
We are fully live. All right. With that, we are going live in. Hey, this is Wicked Spursy, Mike, Steve, and Dave. Just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
We can make it if we try, boys. We can make it if we try. Steve, how you doing, my friend? What's going on?
I am doing quite well, Dave. I am glad to be recording this after witnessing Ange Ball. I really came to miss it during the international break, and with good reason. With good reason. We'll be talking a lot about that in the next hour or so. But, you know, there's just something about Ange's settings, his tactics, that just, it sets you up for a good time. You know, win, loss, or draw. Granted, I don't know what a loss looks like right now in the league under Ange, but everything else has been fantastic.
Don't know how it feels, do we?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's put me in a good mood. I'll leave it at that. It has put me in a great mood for this recording.
You know, the good news is we're not joint top of the table anymore. Wouldn't you agree, fellas? Isn't that a good development?
Well, if you exclude points difference, we're there, but
Mikey, my friend, how are you?
You know what you almost never hear? You know, almost never hear Steve.
I'm doing crappy. I'm having a horrible day. That's what
I'm pretty mediocre.
I save that for work.
I'm not doing the best right now. I did figure out.
So, Mike,
I did figure out my audio issues from last week, and it's that my mic being upside down now. I had the gain turned all the way up, and I had the array set to 360, so it caught all of the echo from the entire room. Wow. Not just what I was speaking up front. So hopefully I got that.
Techno Mike is bringing it tonight.
I think I have it fixed. We'll find out.
But that's not why you're doing just mediocre. Why are you doing mediocre? Let's do a little therapy with you. What's going on? How can we help?
I'm super happy about the match that we had, about having Ange Ball back, and you know, my favorite 11 idiots. You know, I just love it. Here's the thing. I got my
Steve, we need to keep tallies, right?
Like here's the thing every time Mike says, here's the thing.
We should wager beforehand, and whoever is closest at the end gets, a prize.
You should make a drinking game out of it. I got my COVID jab today. Not today, yesterday. I'm a liar. Yesterday.
Did you go with the P or the M? Which one did you go with?
So the new one is only Moderna. It's only Moderna. So it covers a wide array of the different variables of COVID-19. So I got the jab, and I got the flu at the same time, the flu shot at the same time, which I guess is a quad marker or quad something that I don't know. It covers 4 different kinds of flu that they've predicted for this winter. But yesterday I got the shot, and I was like, oh, pretty fucking good. Not bad. Arm's a little sore. I woke up this morning, arm's a little sore. By 10 a.m., I felt like I'd hit a wall. Not feeling great right now. So
you ran into Romero.
I'm going to let you know. Yeah. I'm going to let you know right now that I cannot be held accountable for what I say or what I do on this podcast because I am on another planet right now.
Understood. Got a couple a question and a comment for you first.
Well, HR, I don't want them to get involved, so we just need to keep this.
Yeah, and you just shared some PII, some personal health information. So we need to be careful with that. But I'll do the same. So are you saying that
my own personal health information?
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter then. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
But now I'm talking about yours. So then
I've talked about my colonoscopy before.
This is true. So are you saying that the Pfizer jab I got last week was
oh, you got a Pfizer?
I got a Pfizer. Yeah.
Are you sure it was Pfizer?
I am. And here's why. Every jab I had prior was Moderna. Only person in my family that got Moderna the first, what was it, 3 times or whatever. My wife and boys flying colors every time. Moderna kicked the crap out of me every time I had it. And to your point, 18 hours after the shot, hit a wall, had an 8-hour period of feeling like I got run over and backed over by a dump truck. And then I was good after about an 8-hour stretch. So that was my experience.
Oh,
This
maybe I'll
time-
feel better then.
Yeah, this time I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try the Pfizer. Just let's see if I feel okay. And honestly, I felt pretty okay the next day. A little bit of just feeling a touch off, but not the brick wall that I experienced with Moderna. So that was my deal.
I know. I was just told that the guy said that the nurse that was doing my jab said that
Gotcha.
it's only made by Moderna this time. And I was like, oh. So I told him, I was like, I've had Pfizer the entire time through and never had any issues. Just that like the first initial one where I like broke down crying because I thought I was dying. But then after that, I've never had an issue. Like
as Mike does with every shot he gets in life, right?
usually the flu shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, congrats,
again,
man.
I can't
Hey,
be
you'll get
held
through it though. You'll get
I
through it.
cannot be held responsible for what I say or do.
We're confident that you're going to get through this. You'll be okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right. Good to know, boys. Good to know. I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I relocated all of the leaves off my lawn today. That was a major accomplishment, right? And by relocated, I mean I used my mower, my tractor to push them into the woods. That's the big deal this time of year because they keep freaking coming, man. I don't know about up your direction, but foliage has been beautiful down here. And it's been long lasting, but not good for leaf management because
For everybody who doesn't
they
know
just
that,
keep coming down.
Dave is a huge environmentalist and he loves burning that gas just to move the leaves out of the way. I
feel like it's
an
wash.
electric leaf blower.
Oh, I have that too. I
you
totally
should.
have that too. Yeah, but
And to
there's
offset it, he takes
specific.
a barrel of oil and just lights it on
Yeah.
fire in the backyard, just
I
keeps
mean,
it running.
Here's my take. I blow them into the woods using my gas mower, which the gas is offset by the natural composting dynamics that occur in the woods, right? Like I'm carbon neutral here, bro. I'm
Good.
good to go.
You neutralize. That's good.
That's
He
exactly.
pays
right.
for
I don't know if
carbon
this is not
offset.
the international symbol for
I don't think that's that. No, that's
something else.
That's something else. Yeah.
Google
we're
it
not
later.
We're not that kind of podcast, actually.
That's another.
Mike.
Well, we were for like a week. When I went out,
Bad
when I went off,
influences.
I went
just
off the
rubbing
rails.
off. Speaking of rubbing off, anyway,
Stop setting precedents, Steve.
Go ahead, Steve. What do you got? Take us somewhere else. What do you have for us?
there was a game just yesterday.
There was just yesterday. Can I tell you really quickly something cool about the game?
I would love you to tell me something cool about the game.
Major development in my life that I think escalates my hillbilly quotient a bit, which I know you guys will appreciate. I watched the game yesterday on a television that is mounted in my garage. I moved a TV into the garage so that during the winter months when football of both types is on, I can drink beer and wine and watch outside and smoke a cigar and not cause any problems for anyone and not be freezing as well. Really excited about it.
Is said garage heated?
Nope, but insulation, drywall, and kerosene or other element heater is down the road. Got plans.
Good.
Yeah.
Very nice. I love to hear it, Dave. I love to hear it. I thought I was going to do that with my garage, and Amy said, "Your side is your side. Do what you want with it." And I was like, "Yes, I had all these plans, and guess what happened?"
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Luckily, my wife is on
I got
board
tools
with
in
all-
I got tools in my fishing pole.
Nice, very nice.
My 7 fishing poles.
So Steve, sorry to sidetrack by talking about television, but let's talk about a game. What?
Let's talk about a game.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to start because I've got a highlight in mind that just left my jaw on the floor. And it was one of the first big moments of the game. And it has to do with our lovely goalkeeper, Vicario, and that incredible stop that he had to keep, who was it, Polina out? That dude, if that's Hugo, that's going in. If that's Forster, that's going in. I don't know how he managed to make that quick reaction save and keep his hand strong enough that it doesn't just flop backwards and go in anyway.
Yeah,
like
because
Hugo
would just let it through, right?
Yeah, it's and Fraser, he I mean, Mike knows he's like a school bus trying to turn, right? Like, no way he gets to that. And oh man, that was the moment in the game, 11 minutes in, where I thought it doesn't matter what Fulham brings, they're not getting anything from this. Granted, there were moments where Vicario also tried to give them an opportunity, but they still came up big, kept him out, got the clean sheet. We'll probably spend a lot of time talking about the field players, rightfully so. There's some very interesting points to make about them, but I want to start off by just giving a shout out to Vicario for that beautiful save and for even making a couple of errors, keeping his head solid on his shoulders and seeing the game out to get that clean sheet.
How much did David Raya cost? The Gooners.
What was he? 40,
It was
45?
It was 40 something when we were in talks, right?
Yeah, I think it ended up being like 60, didn't it? Something crazy like that.
Could
Hey,
be.
I'll get the
Maybe you
research
got
department on it.
Yeah, can you contact research, Steve, and see what we can find out?
I'm just wondering because the numbers the numbers that they've given us, Premier League has given us, shows that our $16 million keeper is better than their $40 to $60 million keeper, who is a funny looking dude. And our keeper looks like a small child, has a face like a small child on a 6'3" man's body.
I think it looks like Squidward actually is what I
He's
think.
It does.
Yeah,
he's a lunatic,
he is a lunatic.
and I love it. I love the savings. We can all sit here and talk about Vicario like we knew this was coming, but like nobody knew this was coming. We didn't know who this guy was. He played in like a low level shit team in the Italian league. Empoli?
Yeah.
And like the dude just puts up numbers. Like
I remember at the beginning of the season,
solid keeper.
Yeah, I remember saying to you guys, like, this guy's going to be chaos incarnate. Like, he's going to make some incredible saves and then do some boneheaded shit. It seems like Ange has managed to get the boneheaded shit out of there.
Well, he did a couple of fucking boneheaded things.
He did. Yeah. But by and large, I mean,
don't come out of your box like that, dude.
He's fucking great. I love the dude.
Am I allowed to say thanks, Prodigy? Can I say that?
Oh boy.
Well, actually, Dave.
Here's the thing,
Dave.
Here's the thing.
We've had the Prodigy talk already. So
we have. I'm just wondering.
We don't need to revisit it. I mean,
I'm wondering if we give him credit for Vicario.
It's probably 12 minutes worth of time that our listeners and ourselves will never get back.
Valid. Steve, what did the research department find out about the cost of David Raya?
I'm
sorry, David Raya. David,
32 million. Yep.
32.
Okay. 60.
So double.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe more with add-ons, but yeah,
he's not twice as good. I'll tell you that much.
They did pay 110 for Declan Rice. So
how the cool kids are saying it.
Yeah. And we have another guy that we needed to kind of to jump on the bus with us and Vicario, and that's James Madison.
Yeah. Hey, talk about that interview a little bit. I liked it. Talk about it, would you?
So I loved, God damn it, this phone. Honestly, that interview, it kind of showed me what like this new look Spurs is, right? Just super honest. He was super honest. And to the point of calling Leicester a small club.
Yeah, he did.
which he got to backtrack pretty quickly, but he was super honest, in his interviews. And in the past we had a lot of washing over of actual facts, when we won, some of those games weren't pleasant to watch. And I think that's like emblematic of the entire attitude of the team now. Is just the overall honesty, the overall fun that people are having, the want to play for a big club like Tottenham Hotspur, and we are a big club. I know we've said we're not a huge club, we're a big club. We can start thinking about ourselves in a way if we want to, but again, it's very early. But I think, when he's out there, kind of shooting the shit with Carragher and laughing and joking about stuff, it just shows you what kind of new attitude that Ange has brought to this club, and how happy people are, especially a guy like James Maddison, who, like, how the fuck did every other team in the Premier League, if not the world, not see how good this guy could be or was? Like, I honestly, when we signed him, I think I said on this podcast, I pick this guy every single week in my DraftKings. Every single week I pick him because he puts up points, and it's not flashy. It doesn't have to be flashy. He just goes out there and does the job, and he's so happy to be here. He's so happy to wear that white kit.
There's another H word I want to use to describe Maddison, that interview, and his performances, and it's humble. In that interview, Carragher had made this comments like, I think you're the, most transformative signing.
He did. He baited him with that, didn't he?
Yeah. And his response was like, well, I try. I just want to put my head down and get to work. And I hope my performances are emblematic of being this, big game transformative type player. But he didn't accept. I think he did accept it. Like, thank you. He at least gave him the thanks, but the way that he approaching it is like, well, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Like, I'm not going to say that I am until the season's over and we can, look at everything when all the dust is settled. But right now, he's in the thick of it. He's going for it, and one of the things I really appreciate about Maddison as a person is how he's able to analyze himself in relation to his teammates in that honest and humble way. But it's the humility for me where he was talking about how, like, I needed to drop back a bit so that I could do things, because at that point in the game, Destiny was able to receive the ball in turn better than I was able to do in that particular position. So I fall back into that spot and let Destiny take over.
And he also said it doesn't matter who slides into that position, right? Like that was striking.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he was huge. And during the game, I guess I do want to talk about some of the game points as well. He worked, we heard the Ange speak about how he always wants to press. Everybody's got to press start to finish, constantly pressing. Maddison does that. Like, if you need a leader, somebody to lead by example, that is what Maddison does. I didn't see a single moment when he was on the field in that game where he was not pushing, pressing, giving it his all. And there were times where he looked beat, he looked tired, but he kept on going. He drove forward right up until he got substituted. And that's what you want to see from one of your captains, right? You want to see the guy going out there and breaking himself into pieces to fulfill the coach's direction. Fortunately, Ange is also keeping an eye on the players and making sure that they're not running themselves into the ground, because he's literally asking them to run themselves into the ground. But there's that trust there, right? There's a trust between Ange, there's a trust between the players. They know I'm going to do this. When, the coach thinks I need a break, he's going to give me a break. It's not anything to be upset over. I don't think I've seen anybody throw a water bottle or, have a little bit of a tantrum when they get subbed off. It's just kind of expected, right? They get subbed off, whether they're, team captain or not. If it's their time to come off, you come off, you do it quickly, you let the other guy get on there, and you root for them on the sideline as you watch the rest of the game. It's just incredible stuff. So great shout bringing Maddison into the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here's a question for you, Mike. Teeing this up. I don't know where you're going to go with it.
It sounds like you do, though.
No, actually, I don't. Has Ange done anything wrong so far this season. Notably wrong. I mean, I'm sure he's made mistakes, but notably wrong.
Not that we really have seen. You know, substitution wise, I thought yesterday. I mean, but those are small things, right? Especially when you still end up holding the clean sheet and you win the game. Rotating the squad in the Carabao. I mean, fuck the Carabao, but
Quick comment, and anti-Spurs as they came across the announcers yesterday kind of made that first comment you did, right? Like they were kind of bagging on Spurs, but they're like, in the end, it's a 2-0 win with a clean sheet. And what are you
right.
gonna say about the next
So
day?
what I loved hearing out of Ange yesterday in the post match was like, yeah, we looked really good. We were attacking well. We were pressing really well, and they were counter pressing really well. In the first half, and they held like 68% possession in the first half, which is, kind of Ange does the possession game. I mean, not quite as well as Pep does, but he does the kind of chaotic kind of possession game. It's like a jam band kind of. You never know where it's going to go, right?
There you go. There's
So
our mic.
I worked some fishing there for you.
Good. Well done.
But you never know where it's going to go. So I mean, what I loved hearing out of Ange though was that it was great in the first half, but I don't think we played well at all in the second half. The other thing that I heard from Ange, and I don't know if you guys heard it, is that they tried to, and not to bring this into it, but they tried to get him to comment on the political situation in the Middle East right now.
No, I didn't hear that. What did they do?
So they kept on asking about Manor Solomon and how he's being supported by the club, and he kept on kind of trying to direct it toward his injury and how they're supporting him through his injury, and they kept on asking him the same question over and over again, different ways, to try and get him to comment on the political situation. But here's the thing about Ange that we've kind of learned is that, like, one, he's not going to talk about things that he doesn't want to talk about. Two, he's an absolute professional. And three, he knows it's not his place. Whatever his personal feelings are and whatever personal stuff that he's had with his team and with Manor Solomon, he's not going to comment on, because he is a professional. And so, I mean, has Ange done things wrong? I'm sure he has. We will probably not know about it until we actually see it on the field. Because that internal stuff stays internal. He talks more than Bill Belichick, but he's cagey like Bill Belichick. For what it's worth.
See, I would argue that if there's anything he's done wrong, it is the B team. For whatever reason, once we've made those subs and the game started to drift far apart from what we were seeing in the first half, you got to think, how can he get so much right with the A team players, and when their understudies come in, it is an absolute dumpster fire?
Can we talk about that? Because
and how much is them not being accustomed to playing together? I mean, that's
not being accustomed to playing together. You had two guys out there who, arguably coming back from injury. In Lo Celso,
and Brennan.
and Brennan Johnson, who's going to take it a little bit easier, because hamstrings are tricky things. But then you have somebody like Ollie Skip, who just has not looked good. He was terribly bad. And then you had a guy playing out of position in Emerson Royale, and he was terribly bad as well. So, I mean, sure. At the time, I think I texted you guys and I was like, great sub, when they brought Destiny off. Didn't know at the time that he may be injured. And that's when he got his foot stepped on. So I don't know that. I didn't know that at the time. I thought it was a great sub. But I thought they were going to move guys around, but they just didn't do it. So to Steve's point, like, tactically, I think maybe he got it wrong with those subs. But who the hell am I? We're first in the league right now. We're top of the table on our own. 2 points
Fair.
clear.
But you make a good point that it's the personnel too, right? Like, because you know, Højbjerg, he did well enough, but he's no Basuma, right? Like, if Basuma's in that midfield, I think that game is way more comfortable for us. Even in the first half, right? Even in the first half when we were doing well, I think Basuma's strength and his ability to carry the ball through the middle is just it when it's not there, it's noticeable. Højbjerg did well enough. He got the interception, which led to one of the goals, but you're absolutely right. I mean, Skip is a huge step down, huge step down.
I mean, he's been like, I don't think he's looked good since the injury, and maybe it's a confidence loss thing. He looked like a deer in headlights out there.
Yeah, I
like
just
he
don't
didn't know
know.
what he was doing. He gave the ball away, and at first I thought it was I yelled at Decky, but then I realized it was Skip. He was giving balls away. There was one point where he tried to break down somebody defensively, and the dude just like leisurely fucking nutmegged him. Like some,
Yeah, I just don't know if the system suits his skill set. I think he needs to be playing in a more defensive style, right?
I think he might be on the chopping block come January. You never know, but like we might need him. I think to your point on Højbjerg, I think Højbjerg for long stretches of the first half, like had some brilliant play. He's just different than what we're accustomed to with Basuma. Like you said, Basuma will receive the ball, he'll look to turn and carry the ball to then make a pass, an effective pass. Where Højbjerg, and he does it in his national team too. We've seen him do, like, be very attacking in his national team. He receives the ball, but doesn't look to make the turn. He looks side to side or back to make a pass where he then turns and runs to receive the ball again. So they have their strengths. I just don't know that like Højbjerg is going to be long for this world as far as like a starting player with Spurs.
Oh, absolutely not.
He just doesn't fit that role. And once Silky Puddin comes back, if he comes back fit and ready to play and healed up properly, Højbjerg's going to be on the bench. But he's a needed guy for me. He's a guy that we need. He comes in those support roles at the end of games and just shores up the defense. And
so
he made a lot of important blocks at the end of the game too.
So what do you
anticipate? Any changes in January? It's got to be in that central midfield.
What kind of changes, Steve? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like who do you move on? Who do you move out? And who do you seek to bring in?
If we assume that Højbjerg's on his way out, because he does want to start week in, week out, and I can respect that. If he's able to make something happen, I can see him leaving in January. I could see somebody like Skip at least getting loaned out. Mm-hmm. But because I've been thinking about this with because when we get Basuma back, when Bentancur returns from injury, which should be any week now at this point, I think he's in full team training now. Because for me, if I'm looking at everybody's fit, it's probably Pap Sarr who gets dropped for Bentancur, assuming Bentancur comes back at his top level and hasn't lost a step from that type of injury, right?
It's not Basuma or Madison, right?
No, Basuma, Madison, and Bentancur, I think, are going to be.
Well, that's lovely. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. Sarr, I think Sarr's a good sub. I think he's a good guy to bring on because, some of his inexperience did show yesterday in the game, but by and large, he has held his own in the league in that role. And he does things, maybe, they're not flashy or they're not particularly productive, but what he does is like quietly good. Right? Like he keeps things going in a way that you kind of just need it to happen, even if it's not the most direct, even if it's not the sexiest kind of passing or dribbling. But that's kind of like the guy you want to bring on and shore things up when the game's coming to an end, and not Skip. And you've got Lo Celso as well. I keep forgetting about him. He's kind of a little bit of a wild card because he has been off pace coming back from the injury a bit. He has the potential to slot in for a Madison type role, but he was definitely clearly not a lie into it.
I
Some of the
mean,
other
he
guys.
was he or was he not one of our better players on at the end of the Poch era? Like he was
Not
he
not
was,
the Potch era, but in the Mourinho era,
I
he
thought
finished
like
out
toward
that.
the end of Poch, like he was just like flying.
No, because
But
he
was the
just he
only
just
one.
came in. He just came in that
He was the
summer.
yeah, but he was the only one.
He's
See,
a good player.
it's funny
without a
how memory
doubt.
works, right? Like my memory is the end of the Mourinho, not the end of the COVID season. Let me put it that way. That Lo Celso was playing well, but that brings me to the question that I had on my mind talking about Skip. Like
That was the Mourinho season.
yeah, the COVID season, which explains a lot with how he survived as long as he did. Like Skip and what happened to him? You know, like he went away to Norwich. He was a stud for them. He came back to us. He was talked about as a future captain. He showed a ton of promise. He's had some injury difficulty, and then he almost seems like he has hit the wall of performance that he can't get past.
He
Like,
had no he had an open book pelvis fracture, man. Like that's gonna fuck you up, man. It's gonna fuck up the way you run, the way you
is
perform.
it is that a matter of recovery, or is he broken as
I think
a Premier League player?
There have been a couple of like baseball players who overcome that.
Yeah,
But
different
I don't
game.
know.
For
I don't know if any soccer players, like somebody who relies on their legs, you know, as much as soccer players do.
For me, I think he needs to be, kind of weaned back into it at a lower level of competition. Which is why I would suggest in January a loan move out, put him in, championship or something, maybe send him back to Norwich, give him the opportunity to get some game time under those legs, let him stretch it out. But, there's a part of me that also wonders if potentially, because you got to remember, like he's been through so many coaches in the last couple of years too.
Yes.
And most of them have been defensive minded ones, especially the ones who have praised him, Mourinho, Conte as future captain. Maybe Ange's system just doesn't suit him, and that's okay too. If it doesn't suit him, that's fine. But
so he needs to be with a bottom table Prem team is basically what you're saying. Somebody that's
somebody who's going to be more on the defense. I think when he's partnered,
he'd be great at Everton.
Yeah, Everton could be an interesting one. I wouldn't want to send him there because I want Everton to get relegated. But
agreed.
That's because Steve loves Liverpool.
No, it's not even that I love Liverpool.
Steve loves Tim Howard. That's the reason why
hate Tim Howard. That guy's a fucking clown.
He's a douchebag. He really, really is.
How dare you, Steve? He is an American treasure.
Yeah. He's a douchebag.
You know who's not a douchebag though?
Who?
Son?
That Hyun-Min Son.
Hyun-Min's son.
He's what a guy. What does you say? There's nothing else we can say about him. He's I'd like him to be. I have a great younger brother, but I'd love for Sonny to be my little brother. That's dude, really what I would like.
That goal was there a more Son finish than like that fucking finish? That like he was just phenomenal on that finish. And this is a guy who's probably still not 100%, but he's playing out of position. He's found a role where he is now actually playing in position. And he's found a role where it's exciting and he's succeeding, and he doesn't need HK10 anymore, or HK9, whatever the fuck he is now.
Who?
Florida man.
The guy in fucking Germany.
Oh, the guy. Yeah,
Munich man.
Yeah, that guy.
Munich man. So he doesn't need that anymore. He's got a midfield partner who, admittedly, it could be fucking anybody, apparently. I disagree. James Madison is an angel.
Wait, who said it could be anybody?
James Madison. He said anybody could fit into that system.
Fair. Okay. Spot. Yeah. Gotcha.
It's not true.
That's appropriate humility, though. We talked about that, right?
Yeah. But a guy whose smile lights up a room. He lights up my living room every fucking time that he scores a goal, that he's out there playing. I think that these guys all wear their hearts on their sleeve, but nobody more than Sonny, and like his goal, and then his selfless feed back to Madison on Madison's goal, which was like just training pitch clinical finish. Like
And then he gets in Madison's way.
Yeah, did you hear Madison comment on that? He's like,
Yeah.
if Sonny wasn't in my way, yeah.
I have sworn.
I
you
mean,
know
it's
what's
true. It's true. Sonny did step up there. Like, I think he thought that Madison was like out of control and was actually giving the ball to him.
What's
It
funny
was-
to
it was
me
such a
about
weird-
Sun is if you think back a couple of months, we were talking about maybe it was time to move Sun on.
But it was before we knew that he was injured all year last year.
Well, that, and it was also with, Conte and his terrorist football
Also true. Also
in
true.
charge. And now we're just seeing, you give him the right system, you give him the right supports. And fuck, like I almost feel ashamed to even have considered that in the past. But it's something that I do think about when I see him linking up with his teammates this season. It's, man, I can't believe I was stupid enough to want to move him on when he's clearly got so much more to give. So, here's me admitting that I was wrong.
Ooh,
And
Steve,
this is one of those times
we
I
honor
love
that.
it. I love that I was wrong in this situation, right? So
Sometimes it feels good to be wrong. You know what, Steve? You talk about moving on and things we love. I think it's time for you to ask a question. And I would love to hear you ask this particular question.
me? Oh, thank you, Dave. Thank
Yep.
you. The question
Here's the
is
thing,
this.
Steve. I just
Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Hey, Mike, what you drinking?
Oh, Steve, I love when you ask that question.
I love it when Dave lets me ask that question.
I'm a
Almost
giver.
as
Lets
much as
you.
I love letting Dave ask that question.
Lets you.
It
Guys,
lets you.
today I got something special.
Yeah. What do you got?
I love to go to my local quote unquote bottle shop, air quotes.
There's not a damn bottle in here.
The Winooski Beverage Warehouse, Beverage Mart, whatever they call it. I find so many great beers from around the world. I always look for international IPAs. We do a lot of IPAs here. I found one that I've not really seen before. I've never seen a sour double IPA. I've seen sour IPAs, but a sour double IPA. This is a product of New Zealand. It's from 8 Wired Brewery.
8 the number 8 wired.
Yes,
8
the number
Wired.
8.
Okay, gotcha.
8 Wired Brewing. It's got a kind of a trippy looking label on it, and
It does.
it is called Acid Superhighway. Which I will.
Don't say more than you should.
Nope. We're just. I will neither confirm nor deny.
Well done.
Deny
Well,
what?
well done, Michael. Well done.
I've been on a highway. I grew up in Jersey. It's like one big highway.
Yeah, and it feels like you're on acid
That it is.
sometimes.
That's just the fumes.
I'm not talking about the Garden State Parkway either.
That's a whole different animal.
Wow, this smells fucking crazy.
Oh
This-
boy.
This beer smells like I just cut a lime in half.
Huh. I like that smell.
All right.
Oh,
Well, that's not the
And
color
this
I
is
expected.
a sour double. Is that what you said, Mike?
sour double IPA.
Huh. I'm curious if it's going to be double sour or double
Double
so this-
your pleasure,
double hoppy, you know?
double your fun.
Okay, while Mike's doing this, or I always
my
do
God.
this, but let's let him do the sip, and then Steve, I have a question for you. While he's contemplating his rating.
Oh, are you going to ask me what I'm drinking? I'm glad you asked,
Ah,
Dave.
Actually, I wasn't, but I am curious.
It's just this Upper Pass Oasis, this delicious fruited sour.
Very nice.
I
Fruited
almost
as
told
opposed to
told you I was so disappointed in their brew pub. I went to their brew pub with Lucas last couple weeks ago.
which one?
The Upper Pass.
Ah.
It's turned into a fucking garbage heap of a fake Mexican restaurant.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh,
And
How
they
was
just
that? How was-
happen to
how's
have
your,
taps there.
how was your Worthy Burger visit? That's a good place.
That's
enjoy
what
it?
I was talking about. It's
Yeah.
like it's literally in the same parking lot almost. You could right
Oh,
out
interesting.
behind
Interesting.
Worthy Burger. It was fucking phenomenal. It is worthy. It is worthy.
Nice.
So this
All right.
smells like a bushel of limes.
A bushel now, not just a slice. We're up to a bushel.
Wow. This is really weird smelling. Soapy head.
Indeed, one finger.
Well,
Might have been
it
two
was-
to start.
It was two fat fingers.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, I gotta take a
American
picture.
fingers.
I gotta take a picture, or our friend Adomalist will get upset.
Dave, did you have a question for me before I
do,
derailed you?
but I kind of wanted Mike to get his sip so he could start contemplating, because this one may take.
Go ahead. It's not gonna
Ask.
take them.
All right, so this is left field, Steve. Here we go. So I was in the car with my lovely wife the other day, and it's like, "Hey, Dave, you want a piece of gum?" Yeah, sure, absolutely. So she offered me one. I took two, and it wasn't a piece, but it was one of like the little, like, I don't know if it was a Mentos gum or whatever it was. I took two, right? Chewed it and had the very common experience that I find nowadays. About 5-7 minutes in, it's like, all right, this tastes like crap. I need to get this out of my mouth. Like, this gum has run its course, like,
Yep.
She said that before too.
This that is what she said. No, so of course, not that I spit it out the window, because that wouldn't be the appropriate literary thing to do, but I, put it in a napkin and moved on. But here's my question for you, Steve. We then transitioned our conversation to, when I was a kid, I don't feel like gum did this. When I think about the big boys, the Hubba Bubbas, the Bubblicious, I feel like those really, really held on. When I think about the other like stick-based favorites that I had, like the Juicy Fruits of the world, or maybe the occasional Fruit Stripe you got, like some of those bad boys. I even remember, like, you'd be chewing gum at school when you weren't Big Red. You weren't supposed to be chewing gum, but you'd be chewing gum at school, and you just put it in your cheek for a while and it would regain its flavor. I don't know if you guys had that experience of you save it and it comes back. I really feel like they have changed the flavor profile of gum so that it is toast after like 5 to 7 minutes. Whereas when we were kids, you get hours out of that. Steve, your reaction. What do you think? What do you hear?
Literally the only thing I can think of that entire time was from The Office. Gum's gotten mintier lately. Haven't you noticed?
Also
like, it's
true.
Almost too minty.
Very minty, but it comes and goes quickly.
But yeah,
and also
gum
is what
these
she
days
said.
is shit. You chew it for 2 minutes and then it's like, all right, well, what am I even doing with my life now?
Was it different as kids, or am I just dreaming this? Like,
I feel like it was. I think you're in the right. I feel like Big Gum has changed their formula to try to push more units of gum onto the consumer, because that's what capitalism does. It ruins things.
Because back in the day,
Steve's Conspiracy Corner is back.
I mean, for the three of us back in the day, you're playing baseball as a kid, you get some Bubblicious in your mouth, you are set for 7 innings. Like, you are good to go and doing your thing. And
or if you had really cool parents, you got the Big League Chew.
Oh
yeah, I didn't really experience that, but I was envious of my buddies that did. Yeah,
the Hubba Bubba Blueberry.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, Hubba Bubba.
Speaking of blueberries,
the big
speaking
boys.
of blueberries, this is
back to you, Mike.
This is not like blueberry. This is super sour.
Bushel of limes.
Yeah, it smells like a bushel of limes. You get lime. You get pineapple. I don't know what papaya tastes like, so I'm not going to say papaya.
But probably papaya.
Probably papaya. A lot of those citrus fruits. So it's like it's got like a little tinge of like maybe some sea salt, maybe like a gosa almost. Like, it's kind of got that muted, like, it doesn't bite the back of the tongue like a sour usually does, It's really fucking good. But you also get the taste of those hops. That are prevalent in a double IPA. It's got like a little bit of those piney hops that are part of like the character of a double IPA. It's a solid beer. I really like it. It's not the best beer that I've had. It's 8%, so it could send you down a trippy tunnel if you have a few of them that you may not get out of. I could drink a lot of these. That's the problem. Like, it's that smooth.
So it's not so sour that it would burn you out too quickly, is what you're saying.
You know how some sours are like that? Like, Hermit Thrush makes some sours that are like that.
Yes, those are really
It's
sour.
like you can have one or two and you're like, okay, cool.
That's good. Yeah.
I could drink a 4-pack of this. Not at $8.99 a can like I just paid.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
You paid $36 for a 4-pack?
No, I bought one can of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I bought a mixed 4-pack of some international beers, which we'll taste another one next week. But
Very nice.
Interesting.
All right, rating, my
yeah,
friend.
so
What do you
Acid
got?
Superhighway rating from 8 Wired Brewery, sour double IPA. Smells like lime, tastes like liquid acid. I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
Ooh.
Damn it.
All right, we were a little low. We heard that you liked it, but it wasn't like big time. So we neither of us got
Yeah,
close to 4. But you
Few
went
of these
close to
you
4.
might have some street signs running out in front of you.
Nice.
It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you.
Very nice. All right, how about a song? What do you got for us?
Son of a bitch. I thought I had it this time.
I know. I
had it.
thought we were dialed in, actually, Steve. I thought one of us was nailing it, but nope. Not happening.
To kind of go along with the theme of the Acid Superhighway, I'm gonna go the Grateful Dead. That's it for the other one, also known as the other one.
Why'd you choose that?
Like I said, to go along with the theme of the Acid
Because the Grateful
Superhighway.
Dead's all on acid.
So, in other words, you picked this
They
song
would-
you picked this before you drank the beer, is what you're telling me.
Son of a bitch.
No, it's just
Here's the
it's just
thing,
simple.
Dave.
It's
Here's the
just
thing.
simple. It's just simple, Dave.
It's just simple. I like it. Well done, Mike. Well done.
I could drop a reference and just say it's just simple twist up, Dave.
And I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about. So,
Nope.
drop away.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. There we are.
Those are for fans. That was for fans.
For stands. Hey, this has been Hey Mike, what you drinking? 8 Wire Brewing, Acid Superhighway, rating of 3.8, I believe you came at.
I'm a sour dippa stan.
sour dippa stand. Ooh, that sounds like a troublesome country. You should watch out for those guys. All right, let's move on, boys. Let's look ahead. How crazy is it? I don't know what's ahead. Is it right? We're playing Palace on Friday.
Crystal
Is
Palace
the
on
deal?
Friday. Yep.
Man,
It's almost like we're playing in Europe, but not really.
what weird scheduling Monday, Friday. Are they trying to undermine Big Ange? What's the deal?
Yeah, probably.
No, I think they're trying to level the playing field, honestly, with a lot of the mid-table teams from the end of last season who aren't playing in Europe. You have to kind of find a way to level the playing field. We never saw it before because we were
In Europe.
in Europe, right? So we're not in Europe now. Now we're like, what the fuck? 2 games in fucking 4 days? This is bullshit.
Would you be more satisfied if we were 4th or 5th in the table right now and in Europe and just, let's say plugging along but not killing it versus now? What would you prefer?
Hell no.
Isn't that interesting?
How
Right?
fucking cool is it, man?
It's
Top of the table.
This is a
I
lot
don't
of
care.
fun.
How
Having fun
How much
right now.
longer? How much longer are we on a new manager bounce? Dude, how much longer? How much longer do we have to listen to? Oh, it's only it's only 3 games in the season. Oh, it's only 5 games in the season. Oh, we're only 25% of the way through the season. Oh, like how much longer before they're like, holy shit, this is for fucking real.
They're actually good. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, because I have been trying to curb my own expectations with that. I just remember that our shitty neighbors, also in North London, but not originally from North London, shit the bed, like 3 or 4 weeks before the end of the season. So I'm not counting my chickens until week 38.
week 39 is when you
week 40 when we are
that's when
far
you
enough
count.
removed.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to make Wicked Spursy shirts that say, why not us?
Why not us?
Why not
I'll
us?
tell you why, because the refereeing sucks.
I don't think the refereeing was that bad in this week's game.
How about
That is
because
true. The
I think
refereeing
it-
wasn't
I think it was
agenda-
pretty
Premier
fair.
agenda against Spurs? How about that? Was that
I don't-
Well,
I don't
I'm
believe
just
that
thinking
either.
it's mostly
I don't peddle in
pro
conspiracy
City,
theories like that, Dave.
pro Liverpool.
So
Can I
you
just?
don't,
I-
you don't
I
believe
have to
we're up
say it.
against Big Red? We are up against Big Red.
I
United,
have
no,
to
I mean,
say it
Arsenal,
because
whether
it's
up against-
relevant.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. I understand that we are up against Big Red, and that's just we mentioned Big Red gum earlier, and that put it right in your head, right there.
It did, and it's
Yeah.
actually that's a good. I'm actually happy about what I just came up with there. Like I think that those three scummy clubs, like they are the prima
Don't worry
donnas.
about them though, Dave. Like
I don't worry about them.
Like the
I
jingle
sincerely
says,
don't.
kiss a little longer with Big Red.
Nice. Hold tight a
I
little
don't want to
longer.
kiss Big Red.
Live
at
close a
all.
little longer with Big
No,
Red.
but Ollie, I just have to point it out. Klopp with his immediate hypocrisy when somebody asked him, "Well, shouldn't if whoever it was should have been sent off for a clear
Are you
red?"
serious with that question? Are you serious?
Yeah. Do you think they should, have the right to demand a replay? Oh, they'll get over it. Yeah, fuck you, Klopp.
Yeah, that guy.
In
That
time,
guy.
they'll get over it. But listen, dude, we don't talk about that shit because we don't give a fuck. I don't care.
No, valid, Mike. You're like totally valid, but also I think worth.
I think it's
naming.
funny. I think it's
It's
funny,
worth
and
naming troublesome aspects of the world, right? And it's just not dwelling on them, but I think it's worth naming them.
I like
when
Klopp a lot
when
better
you point
he has
them
those
out.
Stupid clear glasses.
Yeah, I liked his glasses. I have those glasses actually.
I know you
enjoy
do.
them. Yeah, yeah. Like a whatever. I don't know.
Dave's too far into that box of wine tonight.
Yep.
So, anyway,
Franzia
Crystal
special,
Palace.
baby. Crystal Palace. They always give us trouble.
I had
Tough
to
team to play.
scroll to the bottom half of the table to find them and look at their
Homer
stats.
away on this one, Steve.
You know what?
It's away.
Actually,
It's at
surprised me?
Selhurst.
I don't love that.
You know what surprised me about looking at their position in the table, and it's not even related to Crystal Palace? Luton Town is out of the relegation zone right now. That was a surprise to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're
because
in
they
17th,
drew
but
again. They drew again.
Yeah,
All they have
Good
to do
for
is
them.
keep drawing with those teams that are below them, and they're out of relegation.
but look, Crystal Palace. Yeah, it's one of those games where it could be difficult. They've got some good players. I like Ezzy.
He's out.
Easy.
He's currently out, isn't he?
Yeah, Edouard. He can be pretty dangerous on.
I think he's currently out as well, right?
Troublesome. Yep.
Newcastle embarrassed them the other night.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They've got a couple of good players, and that's it. They don't have depth, and the rest of their team just isn't that strong.
They don't have Skeletor anymore.
They don't have Skeletor. That is true.
Who's that?
Zaha.
Oh, I hated that guy.
Dave's favorite player of all time.
Hated Zaha. Hated him.
Yeah,
like
we used to go,
same.
Zaha.
Yeah, same whiny countenance as Raheem Sterling has. Like, it always looks like he's about to cry, and just shut up, kid.
That's
But
Gabriel
yeah,
Jesus,
I mean,
but that's
Newcastle
okay.
did absolutely.
No, Raheem
embarrass
Sterling has
them.
it too, but Gabby Jesus also.
So it's one of those games. I'm not terribly worried by it. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be. It's like Luton Town for me, right? Like, I'm expecting us to win, but I don't expect it to be easy. Like, I expect they're going to push. They're going to challenge his. What do they have to lose, right? They're very clearly mid-table. They're not in danger of relegation right now. They know they're not going to get top four. So what do they have to lose, right? They'll come, they'll play their game. It's at home for them. So they're going to want to put on a performance for their fans. I don't think it's going to be enough at the end of the day. I don't think we're going to walk all over them. I would love it if we did, but I do think it's going to be a fun one for us. I think it's going to be something different than what we saw at Fulham. And I think it's going to require certain players to perform maybe a little more clinically. I'm looking at you, Decky.
I thought Decky was mostly fantastic, except for his unwillingness to pull the trigger.
Totally agree,
Yeah.
100%.
And frankly,
he's been mostly
knows.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Ange is going to be telling everybody that you get that chance, you go for it. Like,
shoot the ball.
Shoot the ball, exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking, all right, we're going to boss that midfield, no problem. There's not like Edouard maybe is an attacker that I might worry about, but if he's out, then who cares? And their defense, I mean, Mitchell can be pretty solid, but it looks like they played him out of position at Newcastle. I don't really give a shit about any of the other ones. And goalkeeper Sam Johnstone is just he's
Sam Johnstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the dude's gonna. The thing is that a guy like that comes out and has a fucking worldie against us. And look,
They're a mid-table club,
He's done it before against us.
and that's fine. I think the
end up at a
ultimate
1-1 draw.
yeah, the ultimate test for Ange is, can you do it against the mid-table sides? That was an area that we struggled with last season, the mid-low table, the mid to high table sides, where we needed to get results to be competitive. We couldn't do it.
Steve, I seldom do this, but I'm gonna go on a limb here. I think this one ends up being one of those that just breaks wide open for us and ends up as like a 5-1, 4-0 type scenario. I envision, first of all, like we know Ange is getting on the boys this week because he wasn't happy with the second half. Like so there's going to be some impressions made in these next few days. I think it's going to be a scenario where we come out a little bit slow, and then 20-25 minutes in, we get that first goal and crack it open, and we've got 2 or 3 in by half, and we finish up with another handful. And I never say this kind of crap. You guys can go back. I've never gone on this limb, but I think this is the type of opponent, this scenario, coming off the type of win we just had, I think we could see something break open.
That's something that could very well happen. We just have to, this is not a team that's going to park the bus on you, right?
Right.
So it kind of plays into the system's hands. It's just that how does the system deal with the effects of another team that's going to at their home field, like how are we going to deal with a wide open game against a team that's going to just attack. It kind of reminds me, I just listened to Wendy do straight off the training ground, a one of their Patreon podcasts with Chris Summersell, and he asked Chris straight up, like, if there's a team out there who wants to play wide open and wants to play all attacking, but they don't have the personnel that's good enough to do it, what does that kind of look like? You know what it looks like? It looks like what happened last weekend against Newcastle United for Crystal Palace. So if we as Spurs, saying Spurs players, the team gets out there and plays the game that we know that they can play and have played, instead of this kind of rusty ass bullshit coming back from the international break that we saw this past week. I didn't think we were great. We didn't mention Pedro Porro, who I thought was fucking fantastic again, probably the best right back in the Premier League. I don't know what his numbers look like, but he's probably close to being up there. We just have to play our game and be effective and do it well. Passes have to come off, and for my money, I'm going to tell you right now, if I were a betting man, I wouldn't place this bet, but I think that we should play Højbjerg instead of Basuma, so that we know we have Basuma for Chelsea.
When's the cutoff on the yellows? And
19 games, or after the 19th game. So
shit.
It resets.
What are we
it
at,
resets
8 or
halfway
9
through
right
the
now?
season. Yeah, it resets halfway through the season.
Damn, that's rough.
He's getting another ban. So
he's
do you want it
guaranteed
to be against Chelsea?
He could get 2 more actually if he's not super careful.
No, I think it resets after you get the ban.
Oh, it does.
But it didn't, because he got 2 yellows. So that red card canceled it out, and he's still on fucking.
That's
4 yellows.
He got
Yeah,
5 yellows.
Ridiculously
He got his ban.
stupid. Jeez.
Red
All
card
right.
supersedes the yellows.
Got it.
I get it. I understand it. I still think it's stupid.
Fucking ain't stupid.
Foolish.
Fucking ain't stupid.
Here's the thing, though, Steve.
Here's the thing.
It's time for closing thoughts.
I think I've said it twice, by the way.
Yeah, I've lost track of what you've done and what we've done. We kind of muddied the water a bit. Steve, what are your closing thoughts as we wrap things up tonight?
Well, here's the thing, Dave. My closing thoughts. I love Ange. I love Madison. I love Vicario. I love this team. I am frankly riding this high right now. Do I expect it to continue? Do I think we're going to be the next Invincibles, finish the season unbeaten, win the league? Absolutely not.
Like the monsters.
Yeah, they're not my third and fourth graders. They're just not. Maybe someday they'll get there.
They don't have that kind of coaching. Am I right?
But I'm going to enjoy it, right? Like I am going to enjoy this ride while I can, because I know that the second we slip up, everybody is going to be told you so. They couldn't compete. They're garbage team. All the excuses are going to start to fly. You see it already with the commentary that we get pre and post game, right? It's not, oh, Spurs won the game 2-0. It ends up being, oh, Fulham lost that game 2-0. Like Spurs just can't have anything nice. So I'm fully aware that the first slip up we have, which frankly is going to happen at some point, we are not perfect. It's going to be a miserable week of garbage takes on all sorts of platforms, be it social media reactions, punditry, god awful podcasts reacting to it, not ours, of course.
Okay.
But
that's never been said
then,
about Wicked Spursy, my friend. Never.
Until that moment, I am just going to ride it. I am going to soak up all that negativity and think you guys are just fucking jealous. Tim Howard, you wish you were on Spurs. Sorry, your Everton team is ass. But yeah, ride the high while you can.
National treasure.
Feel like it's not going to last, but we're just going to take it down that acid superhighway and
nice connection there. Mike, I want to give a quick closing thoughts and then I'll come to you if that's okay, because I want to build on what Steve said. Steve, I'm of the belief that when that happens, and I'm not saying it's imminent, but of course we know it's going to happen. It may happen a few times, several times through the course of the season. It's actually going to be the best thing for our club. Right? Like we can't fool ourselves into believing we're invincible. We can't fool ourselves into believing that everything we're doing is perfect. And I really think that a loss, a bad game plays into Ange's leadership and Ange's coaching, because he really is about building a team that is oriented towards goals that are not just immediate on the day of the game, but they're long-term. And like, I don't know. I see losses gain, I guess is what I want to say. When it happens, it's going to be turned for a positive, even if the world around Spurs goes ludicrous with their commentary. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm actually pleased with it. And
you know what?
That's a good place to be.
You know what, Dave? I admitted that I was wrong once for comments that I made last season. Maybe we'll be getting together again next season and I'll get to admit, hey, you know what? Back when I said we couldn't do it, I was wrong.
Wouldn't that be crazy, right?
It would be crazy, but I think you're spot on. I think that's absolutely exactly the right way to look at it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
The only one you need to listen to out there is Dave from Wicked Spursy.
That's
if you're listening to anybody else, you are wrong.
If the world felt that way, man, well, it'd be great. I would be good to go with that. But yeah,
Dictator Dave taking over.
Darn right. Do as I say, not as I
do.
Speaking of that, Mike,
my mother used to say that all the time.
So, Mike, here's the thing. I would love to know what your closing thoughts are.
So my closing thoughts are these, Dave. In the beginning of the season, we're what? 10 games in now?
9, 10?
Finished 9.
9? Sure, 9, 10.
Yeah. Almost double digits.
Almost.
38. Close enough, right?
38. Right. Okay.
We'll call it.
So, yeah, let's stop the count. So right now, Spurs are in the top of the table. They are 2 points clear, top of the table. The best start ever by a new manager, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We know that happened. So Ange has that record too. We didn't know this was going to happen so quickly, right? We were told by Big Ange himself that this was going to take time.
The first year is bumpy, right?
It was going to take some time.
Yep.
We have a lot of players that don't fit this system still in the squad. We have a lot of players that Ange inherited that just don't fit this squad. The thing is that some of those players we thought were throwaways or sellaways are like linchpins in this system. Talking about Pedro Porro, I'm talking about somebody like Hobby, who we need to keep around. You know, I'm completely blown away every single time I watch this team play, because I haven't seen this since mid Poch reign. Like once Poch got going, remember how great it was, how fun it was to watch. Like we were giving up shitloads of goals, but we were scoring shitloads of goals. Like Delhi was flying. Christian Eriksen was like, holy shit, like we have that type of a team back. We just do. And like Steve said, like we're on this wave. Let's just ride it while we can. Be happy and don't let any fucking assholes bring us down.
Speaking of assholes,
Me gusta mucho.
I know, me too.
That's good, Mike. And you know what I just was thinking as you were talking? And I'm not we know you're not the biggest Manor Solomon fan, and we know that has nothing to do with the heat he has experienced around his comments. But I was just thinking, like, we still have Brian Hill, and if Brian Hill comes in and plays like we expect him to, like, there's that as well, right? Like there's your comment was
he's Ringo Starr's lost son.
He may be. Like we've been fortunate that our injury status has not caused us to dip into those guys that are really problematic, because we know they're there, right?
I don't think Brian Hill is problematic.
But no, I don't either. But there's the Eric Dyers of the world, there's players on that bench or players that aren't making the match day squad that are problems that need to find other resolution. But so we've been lucky in that regard. But we also have a number of players ready to come back to the pitch soon that I think are going to just enhance our operation and maybe fill some voids. And that's super exciting, man. That's good stuff. I like it.
That's why Hobby's still serviceable.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'd love to see us keep him, not as a starter, but I'd love to see us keep him as a strong impact sub. Whether or not he wants to do that is another question. The dude's
just a consummate professional, and he goes out there and does his job, whether he's a starter or not.
What he doesn't understand is guys like him need to realize, like, there's a role for like the backup quarterbacks of the world. You know what I mean? There's a reason good backup quarterbacks have 20-year careers, because they don't get the crap beat out of them. And Hobby could make a lot of money for a really long time coming on and being a smart coach on the pitch who's making an impact. When
he played like 184 straight games.
He did. And so we made him into a 30-year-old when he's still like 26.
He's still in his 20s. Yeah, he's a kid. They're all kids. They're
children, no question. They're even younger than you, Steve. Steve, as we wrap up, what would you say to our friends who we love and appreciate as we go?
Quiz.
And don't one more thing. Yes, sir. And Michael, how about you?
Guys, I just got my fucking COVID jab. The world is crazy out there. COVID's back, man. COVID's back. Get your boosters if you haven't gotten them yet. Go out there and get your boosters. And if you have to, if you're sick and you have to be out there in the world, mask up for other people's protection. And also, be safe.
Yeah.
And
one more thing.
And